Hey everybody, Chad here. This video, we're going to talk about emotional triggers. And what I mean by that, emotional triggers, is what makes you feel positive, what brings you more energy. Then also, on the flip side, what makes you feel more negative, okay? What makes you feel like it's sucking the life out of you? That's what I mean, emotional triggers. We all have emotional triggers. We all have habits, daily habits that we do all day long that's either going to bring us energy or suck our energy. Now, in a perfect world, okay, a perfect life, we're going to do more things that bring us energy, okay, bring us a higher vibration, makes us feel more positive, versus doing more things that bring us down, lower consciousness, where it sucks our energy and we feel like we're more negative. Another example of emotional triggers, okay, I kind of learned this by Anthony Robbins. And usually goes by Anthony Robbins, Tony Robbins. If you don't know who he is, he's kind of more of an old school and personal development, higher achievement. But he's been around for about 30, maybe even 40 years now. And back in his early days, he talked a lot about emotional triggers. And I think he still does now. He might explain it differently now than he did in the early days. But how he explained it, now he goes basic and he went very in depth with emotional triggers, is one of the ways he kind of explained it, not really explain it, but if we're in a negative state, is being able to do something positive that shifts our states. Basically shifts us back into a positive state of mind. Okay. And what I mean by that is you're fine where if you're negative, or you're fine where maybe you're depressed. Okay. Isn't it weird? Like when we're depressed, we like depressing things. You know what I mean? If we don't break that state right away, we stay in that depressed state. Okay. Maybe something happened at work and it made us depressed and we came home. But besides shifting our state to something positive, when we come home, the depression rises. We start listening to depressing music, maybe on the car ride on the way home. You know what I mean? We don't listen to positive music. We end up listening to sad music, sad songs. What does it do? It lifts and it keeps us in that depressing state, but it makes it worse. Okay, we go home and then we maybe we eat really good. We always follow some type of strict diet, or maybe we're just into healthy eating. All of a sudden we go home, we want to eat a whole carton of ice cream. Okay, then we go in and want to flip on the channel and watch a sad movie. You know what I mean? We've all done it. Okay, I've done it. Okay, I have friends that do it. We've all probably done this in a certain realm. Okay, when we feel down and about, okay, when we feel depressed, you know we do things that keep us in that state. Make sense? And that state could last. Maybe we're depressed for one day. Maybe we're depressed for multiple days. Maybe we're depressed for a week, months, or years. But what happens is sooner or later we wake up and we find that, well, I'm doing things. We become more aware. I'm doing things that keep me in that state, that keep me depressed. Okay. I'm not doing things that make me feel more positive. I'm always doing stuff that make me feel negative, that make me feel depressed, that make me feel worried, that make me feel, if I have anxiety, I'm constantly doing things that make me feel that way, rather than doing the reverse, doing something almost like what Anthony Robbins would teach, doing something that shifts, breaks that pattern, shifts my state into a positive state. But let's wrap this up with emotional states, okay? Now, emotional states, they can be very simple, okay? Things that happen throughout our day that we notice right away and we can shift. We notice something is sucking our energy, we shift it, okay? And it could be something a little bit more severe, okay, a little bit more difficult, okay, something that we've been in for a little while, okay. Maybe it could be something like we're hanging around with negative people, okay. Now we have to stop doing it, okay. We start noticing it's shifting our energy, it's bringing us down. And one of the things that I hinted on a little bit, what I've been going through, okay, is being in a country life, like right here. Okay. And some people, they love it. Okay. And it's not a bad life. It can be a very good life. Okay. But it's not me. Makes sense. I'm more, even as far back as I can remember as a kid, because as a kid, most of the time I kind of grew up like this as a kid. Okay. And you might sit there and think, well, Chad, you should be used to it. But but as me being a kid, I've always wanted to kind of live in a city. Okay. Uh, as a kid, thinking back, even like my grandma and all my aunts and uncles, they kind of lived in a city. So we always like living, living in a city. Country life for me, even growing up, I knew it wasn't for me. Okay. And when I went to high school, got out of college, I lived in a city. Okay. It might have been a small city in Ohio, but I lived in a city. Okay. Got more energy from it. Okay. It was more kind of my thing. Okay. Then I moved to LA. I lived in LA for 20 years. Okay. So that was more my thing, more my style of life. Okay. I lived in Thailand for a year, more my style. Okay. But then in between Thailand, what happened was back in like maybe 2021, I brought all my stuff back here. Okay. Because I was kind of contemplating, do I stay in LA? What to do? Do I move back to Ohio? I started contemplating, I wanted to see family a lot more. So I didn't know if I wanted to kind of move back to Ohio to be really close to family, or, to, to visit family more often than what I did when I lived in California, pretty much. Okay. Then when I moved everything back here, okay, then I think in August of 2021, something like that, I went to Thailand for almost a year. Then I came back here in June of 2022, something like that, give and take. So I kind of been here for a whole year. Now, take that. These are the rain clouds back here, huh? So we might have a great big storm. I have to stay close to the house just in case I get drenched. Um, but when I came back from Thailand, it was June of 2022. Okay, I've been here a year now. This is the first winter. Look at this. This is the first winter that I've been through. Okay. Now, winter in Ohio can last anywhere from, in my opinion, it lasts like 7, 8 months, give and take. Sometimes depending upon when the warm weather hits, sometimes warm weather can hit in April, and it feels like you have a really long summer. Sometimes warm weather don't hit until June. Okay, so give and take, winter can be 7 or 8 months of either cold, rainy, snowy weather. Okay, that's the first winter I've been through in 20 years because I've been in California the whole time. And California don't have snow, don't have Southern California, don't have winter like that. So this has been my first winter going through it. And like now, it has nothing to do with family, it has nothing to do with, visiting my mom, my sister, brother-in-law, nephew. With them has nothing to do with it, but it's just not my lifestyle, you know what I mean? So now I'm kind of feeling, that's what I mean by maybe a longer emotional trigger where you've been doing something for a while, but it's been slowly kind of sucking the energy out of you. It's been slowly demotivating you. It's been slowly hindering you, okay? Until you wake up one day and you think, it's like, dude, I don't feel like doing anything. I'm not motivated to work out. I'm not motivated to go to the gym. I have a whole fitness center on the backside of this house. I don't feel like even walking out there and doing it. So then I become aware of it, okay? But then I start asking myself questions of, why am I feeling this way? What am I doing? What am I doing in my daily habits making myself feel this way? Okay, what am I doing? Okay, but there's something I'm doing that's making myself feel this way. And one of the things I came up with was, it's just the atmosphere I'm in. It's not a bad atmosphere. It's just not me. It makes sense. Then on top of it, I'm way more secluded. Okay, you see the neighbors way down there, way more secluded. So I really have to go out of my way to visit people here. It's not impossible, okay, but I really have to go out of my way to visit people. I can't just come out and walk around and talk to people. You know what I mean? If you live in a city, okay. So it can be done, but you have to go out of your way to do it. Okay. I can't just can't just get in my car and drive 2 minutes and get a coffee and get a Starbucks, or walk to get a Starbucks. You know what I mean? Have to drive 20 minutes to get a Starbucks here. So it's not impossible. Okay, but it's draining me a little bit because it's not my lifestyle. It's not what I'm used to. Okay, it's not what brings me joy, brings energy to me. So that's one thing, I kind of realized within myself too. It's my environment. The second thing is, just like what I said, can I drive to Starbucks more often? Yes, I can. You know what I mean? Can I, I might have to plan a little bit better here, or I have to plan a little bit more here to be an initiative to do stuff rather than it just already being there. You know what I mean? I'm just walking out the door and there's people there, type of thing. So, but the biggest thing is that it's not my lifestyle. So, when you stay in an environment for so long, it's either gonna bring you enthusiasm or it's not. It's gonna bring you joy or it don't. Or slowly it's gonna start, sucking the life out of you a little bit. Not in a bad way, as talk about family or anything. It has nothing to do with that. It's just, you have to become aware of the point of this talk is you have to become aware of what motivates you, not motivates you. Okay, but that's when it really comes down to law of attraction. It's getting windy here. It's going to start to rain. When we talk about law of attraction, laws of abundance, it's really being in a state of joy, being in a state of doing stuff you want to do. Makes sense? And we're constantly in a state of it's getting really windy. The storm's coming. But we're constantly in a state of worry, anxiety, not doing what we want to do. We're in a state of low vibration. We attract it that level. But other than that, my friends, I want to go in. It's getting really windy and the storm's going to come in. But anyway, peace out. Blessings to you. Be aware. Stay aware of your mind. Stay aware of your emotional states. Other than that, blessing to you. Talk to you later.